Folks, I want you to welcome back to the program. We got from the Family Council here in Arkansas. Mr. Ken Yang is on the line. Hey, Ken, how's it going, sir?
Yeah, good. Thank you for having me back on.
Absolutely. It's always great to have you. Just wanted to have you on to talk about the issues of the day. First of all, let's talk Family Council. People can go to familycouncil.org if they want more information about the work you guys are doing. So what's up? What's going on with Family Council right now?
Oh well, we're just keeping an eye out, on whether there's going to be a special session or not, because we've been talking to people about hate crimes legislation, and we just want to make sure that that doesn't also sneak up on us, and then just preparing for the election cycle where we do our voters guides and we ask, where people stand on issues of life, religious liberty, guns, taxes, all that good stuff.
Yeah. Well,
bad stuff.
I mean, that sounds busy. And in terms of watching out, for special sessions, that's the thing. Sometimes those can be tricky, even though there are, defined parameters before a special session is called. A lot of times, there can be things that are done, language that slipped into this bill that has nothing to do with maybe the title that can have a lot of different effects, different outcomes, and so there's and I didn't really even realize until I read in the paper this morning that there were kind of whispers of a special session, but that appears to be the case. Anyway, so I know you guys got your plate full right now.
Yep.
So Ken, what did you think? We talked about this article. There are a lot of people apparently on the left who are waking up to China's one-child policy, and this is in the context of what Senator Bernie Sanders said when he said that to control the weather and fight climate change, women need to have more abortions. Did you see that?
Yes. Well, and first of all, and not just Bernie. I mean, let's just be honest. Every single Democratic candidate running for president, in every single debate, they fail to ask the question about life, and they fail to ask that hard question of, basically every single candidate supports the killing of unborn babies. And most of them support the killing of unborn babies all the way to term. And so it's just disgusting. And in regards to China, I think many of your listeners know my family story. When I think about when Senator Sanders is like, oh, that'd be a great idea, I'm thinking, well, thank goodness, my dad fled communist China because I'd never be born. He'd have my brother, and then that'd be it.
Wow.
Or if they did have me, they would either my mom would have been forced to have an abortion, or they would have been forced to kill the kid kill me after I was born. We often talk about the awful number, anywhere from 50 to 60 million of aborted babies in the United States. That number in China is over 400 million.
Wow.
And that's the type of policy that people like Bernie Sanders would support. Not only 50 million dead babies, he wants to increase that number.
Well, I mean, he was specifically talking about, the concept of using abortion to control the population because that would somehow help the climate of everybody else. And what he doesn't realize is, I mean, that's the link you're making is that's exactly the philosophy that the Chinese have been carrying out on their citizens for a long time, not to control the weather, but just to control, they got a lot of people over there and they have limited resources. And there's this new documentary. And it is shocking people on the left in a good way. It's a new documentary called One Child Nation, and it explains how this whole thing, this one child policy, has worked. And this one article I'm reading says Bernie should actually watch it before proposing population control as a solution to global warming or climate change or whatever. I mean, but that's, I think, a positive thing, Ken, that there are people on the left who apparently watch this documentary and they can't stop talking about it because they are absolutely appalled and disgusted about rounding women up in the middle of the night who are pregnant and are basically in possession of an unauthorized baby.
Yes, let's be clear. in the aspect of China, it's the government that's forcing these women to have abortions. The majority of the Chinese people over there in China, they want to have multiple children. They want to have more than one child, and it's the Communist Party who goes and kills these people. It's the government that goes and kills these unborn children, and that's what you see on the left is our candidates that are supporting communist, socialist type policies of killing children.
It's I mean, to say barbaric is an understatement, and I don't understand why more people don't talk about these horrors. I mean,
well, look, and I think and the reason why I want to say that is, in the Chinese culture, when you are born, you're actually 1 year old.
okay.
You don't start at zero like here. And I think if you think about that even further, that's that culture from a really long time ago where that is life at conception. Why else would the child be 1 year old if they didn't believe that was life? And that's a small part of the Chinese culture in Taiwan and even in Japan and Korea, where they do that also. That doesn't get talked about a lot.
Yeah, and that just dawns on me that back to what Bernie Sanders said, he actually said, if you read his whole statement, that there are women in developing worlds that are having more children today than they want to have, and I think that whole premise is false. I don't think that's true, and just like you were saying. That there are these women are being forced to do this in China. They're just like us. I mean, they're human beings, and they love their spouse and they want to have a family. They want to continue to have a family because that's the natural human tendency. That's our urge. We want to reproduce ourselves.
Yep.
And so it's so. I mean, the whole thing is so frustrating. I want to ask you about the current president. I mean, given your family situation, the president of China. Given your family situation, them being able to escape, that communist rule, what do you think about President Jinping basically appointing himself as president for the rest of his life?
Well, I listened to your show, and I know you talk about China a lot. And it's sad that more people do not talk about China. And I follow foreign. One of my biggest love is foreign policy, and especially in the aspect of China. And President Xi Jinping is. I tell people all the time when he became president, he is the closest to Mao Zedong since obviously Mao Zedong himself, and that is scary. And people don't see that. You saw the kind of natural progression to the history where you start thinking, well, maybe China is having more capitalist policies. Maybe they'll move in towards that eventually. But the current President Xi Jinping, has put that to rest. He eliminated every single one of his opposition when he became president, and he took over the army quicker than what most incoming presidents do. And we see the policies that happen in Hong Kong. We see the policies of the more aggressive policies of trying to take back Taiwan than we have in years. And then we see the aggressive policies of coming here to the United States and stealing our intellectual property, coming here and infiltrating our society. And they're loving the fact that the liberals' attention is towards this Russian hoax because they just get to come on and walk in and do whatever they want.
Wow. Yeah, I had never thought of that, that specific diversion. But yeah, you're exactly right about that. But it's got to be a little bit. It's been encouraging to me to see what's going on in Hong Kong. Obviously, the situation itself is an overall negative, but the fact that the American flag to those folks still means freedom. It means it means what is now it never used to be politicized like the Bill of Rights. There was a time where that wasn't, a political issue. It was something we all agreed on. Over in Hong Kong, the American flag stands for freedom of speech, freedom of religion, the right to assemble, and they're waving the flag because of that. That's encouraging.
Yep. Yeah, well, and then they see a president that actually stands up for the American people and for American policies, and not only does that, but has actions to prove that. But at the end of the day, I struggle. I tell people when I do talk about China, I said, look, I think it's the media age. We get to see it on TV more. People can capture it more. But I struggle to think that anyone would come to the aid of either Hong Kong or Taiwan if China had ever decided to take those two by force.
Yeah.
And so, I see the presidential candidates talk about, well, we got to, keep them accountable and work with them. And it's just like that sentence alone shows their lack of depth in foreign policy and the idea that they're just going to somehow keep China accountable and also still work with them. It's a joke.
Hey, Ken, I appreciate you coming on the program, sir. It's always great to talk to you, and look forward to doing it again sometime, or soon, actually.
Sounds good. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Ken Yang, everybody.